thank you so much. What an honor to join you all. As I was introduced, my name is Congressman Warren Davidson. I represent the great state of Ohio. Many of you know in Hungary, one of the in Ohio, one of the largest expat communities for Hungarians is near Cleveland. Now, my district's more in southwest Ohio, so about as far away from Cleveland as you can get and still be in Ohio. But it's an honor to represent that little slice of America. You know, right now, people around the world have taken note that Donald Trump is America's president again. And we're so excited about it, but we couldn't be happier in Ohio. It feels like we've just had an incredible burden. It's almost like we've been unburdened by what has been. You think about it, Trump 47, to me, is the best sequel ever. I mean, in only 4 months, we've got a secure border, a focused military, an American foreign policy that's focused on our own interests and not some globalist agenda. We've got illegals being deported, criminals being locked up, education focused on teaching our kids, not indoctrinating them into woke ideology. Things are going in the right direction. There's a lot of momentum from the Trump administration. Like I say, the best sequel ever. But Congress, we don't have as much momentum. We're fighting to keep up. Where the DOGE cuts have highlighted problems, we're hopefully going to vote next week to be able to lock those in. So the key is, can we work together to build this agenda? But let's look at what we've overcome already. I mean, for me, when I graduated high school, I joined the Army. I wanted to be an Army Ranger, and I enlisted in America's Army. I was stationed in Germany in 1989. So I was there when the Cold War ended. As some of you in the room were here in the Cold War, and from looking at the audience, a lot of you are pretty new. You came around after the Cold War had already ended. But in those days, you know, I crossed the border into East Berlin. I met people in West Berlin who were experiencing their first hours of freedom. And it was obvious to them that they had been lied to. And a great book, I don't know if he's here still in the audience, but Rod Dreher, a book, Live Not by Lies, documents all these stories of people who were behind the Iron Curtain, who were seeing similarities behind what was happening then and in the 40 years of communism controlling this part of the world. And what you're seeing with the globalist agenda everywhere, but especially in America. I mean, the idea that, you know, it sounded like hyperbole when Ronald Reagan, who was president when I graduated high school, he had famously said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. And that seemed like, well, we could never lose freedom, not in America. But I have colleagues I serve with in Congress now who describe themselves as democratic socialists, who are seeking to impose the same failed ideas that we have around the world. We have people in Western Europe who are coming to Hungary for political asylum from, you know, regimes pushed in Brussels or London or Paris. They're seeking sanctuary here because Hungary has done something that's rare. Freedom surrendered is rarely reclaimed. And Hungary, with the leadership of Prime Minister Viktor Orban, has led an inspiring revolution. Frankly, you all inspire us in America and clearly from the audience from around the world, because we know how hard it is to reclaim ground that's lost. And we've lost so much of it in the United States. Think what happened in those years. You had these neo-Marxists from the Frankfurt School that pushed their ideas. In the 60s and 70s, they had this organization called the Students for Democratic Society. And this guy said, let's do a long march through the institutions, a reference to Mao Zedong's long march that led to the Communist Revolution controlling China. Failed in every way except to seize power. And that's exactly what it's designed to do. It seizes the institutions, things like the media, things like government organizations, heavily focused on education. They disrupt the family and the nation. That's what critical theory is. It's meant to tear down. They never get around to stating precisely what they believe in because they want to build the biggest coalition possible to tear down what exists. And you could see in America where we were under that kind of system. And in a lot of the world, you saw, Prime Minister Tony Bennett earlier from Australia. You look in Australia in shock during COVID and you go, wow, it's looking like a penal colony again. They're literally locking people up during the COVID era. In the United States, they literally wanted to show your papers to be able to eat a meal in certain places. And I think it was sort of a test to see how far people would go. And they went there quickly. They were ready to, their own family members, turn them into authorities, do anything possible to try to silence them or make them comply. Just obey. And it's a bit of a dystopian world. They use the same tactics to undermine candidates that they've tried with Viktor Orban, that they've tried in France, they're trying right now in Poland, they tried and seem to have succeeded in Romania. They're trying to ban political parties in Germany. But don't forget, they tried to put Donald Trump in jail. They tried to stop him from being even eligible to run in multiple states in the United States of America. And if they could have, they would have put him in jail. These tactics are nothing new, but so are the tropes that they use in disinformation. Things like in America, Pat Buchanan was laying out many of the same ideas in the 1990s that really formed the Make America Great Again movement when Donald Trump ran. And just like where they tried these things successfully to hold Hungary back for years, and Prime Minister Orban broke through them, in the United States, they tried these tactics, and they had succeeded in the past, but they met their match with Donald Trump. He was able to break through them because he had built a brand that people knew for years, but we also had other channels that bypassed the media. So let me just lay out sort of a counterinsurgency handbook that breaks through these things. To bypass free speech, we got maybe one of the biggest wins in the world when Elon Musk bought Twitter. So when he first bought it, many of the things that you can say today were considered conspiracy theories, and my own government was working with big tech companies to shape speech, not just in America, but around the world. We see elections, and we still don't have answers for the elections in America in 2020. They never wanted to hear the cases. They said you don't have standing. They tried to throw out cases and say the cases are thrown out. They never ruled on the merits of the case. Thankfully, Donald Trump came back and overcame it. And part of the same things that have proved resilient for the Make America Great Again movement are the values that we share. In Ohio, our state is now more Republican than known conservative states like Texas, because we're not going to go along with the idea that we don't know the difference between a man and a woman. And if you think about this, this is an attack not just on the family, it's an attack on the idea that there is a creator and that in the beginning he created them male and female. I want to caution you about something that is a big danger, though, and that's the money. I traveled to London, to Brussels, and to Basel, Switzerland in October. And every central bank, including America's central bank, the Federal Reserve, around the world is working on a central bank digital currency. This is the dystopian tool that you see in all sorts of fiction, that you see in the book of Revelation described in Scripture. It is a tool for surveillance, coercion, and control. It corrupts money from its proper use as a means of payment and exchange and a store of value to this dystopian tool. Hungary is wise to stay on its own currency and to have a system that protects cash. And you have to protect those permissionless systems where you can pay one person or another so that your money doesn't become corrupted. It is an essential tool to defend freedom in our world today, and I believe it poses an existential threat. So as I've gathered here for my first time in Hungary and at my first CPACHungary event, it's been great to see people from all over the world who have many of the same concerns. And you just need to know that you're not alone in the world, that there are people all over the world rooting for you to succeed, and you have friends in Congress in the United States of America who want to help you defend freedom. We can't fail. I mean, so you know the stakes are so high. There is no substitute for victory, and I'm encouraged by you. I hope you're encouraged by our presence today, and I wish you a great success in all of your elections and all of your fights so that we can together ensure that good governments defend freedom. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Hungary. Köszönöm.